my coronation. Hustle, no hesitation. You know it's understated when they calling me the great. Yeah, listen, no more can I.
Hey, buddy, get in there.
What more can I say? Green's the color your money, then put that broccoli in my
Get out of here.
Got a meeting with success, so it's my time, I can't relate. Hip-hop, nigga, terminating haters. Started in the pieces, we falling like the Lakers. Back up on the scene, ripping for my
Get out of
team.
here.
Ripping off the industry, I'm on that Wolverine.
Bye, have a great time. Bitch, where you running at? Get back in there. Get out of here, man.
What's good, folks? This is IMMORTAL here with a new Warframe video coming at you with a Vauban Build video. Yeah, it's been a while since we released one, and here we are. This Vauban is all about ability damage, killing things with ability. He's not using his weapons to kill, he's just using his abilities. Anyway, we're using two weapons, one to buff our abilities and one to debuff enemies, so we deal more damage. And I'm using a Helminth ability, Thorough Strike. This is Cyanex's Helminth, his second ability. It allows you to remove enemy armor and shields. It requires 200% power strength to fully strip them of their defenses. Here, as you can see, I have 72%, but with our build, we will get that 100% strip. What's the other great thing about Thorough Strike? It is permanent armor strip, and you can push back the Acolytes and Demolists. Makes it very, very useful and versatile. The ability that we're going to be using is the Flechette Orb. If you guys did not know, this is Vauban's second ability, and one of his many second abilities. It is a little mine that you throw down and rotates and deals puncture damage, which scales from power strength. Vauban's passive, if you do not know Vauban's passive, basically enemies that are incapacitated, whether it be by you or any other Warframe, they will take increased damage. And of course, don't forget his other ability that buffs your damage, Overdriver. So Flechette Orb is all about puncture damage, but as you can see, it's not as consistent when it comes to crits, and it takes some time to ramp up. However, what happens when you stack 4 of them? This is the max, by the way. Pop this, group these enemies up, and strip them. You deal a lot of damage, and this has a lot of scaling because it also scales from enemy level. So the higher the enemies are, the more damage you deal. Now, what is the purpose of using the Mutalist Quanta? Any projectile shot through these bubbles will have increased crit chance and crit damage, and also deal electric damage. It won't convert your damage, but it just adds the electric damage. Think of it like shooting through Volt's shields, but with some crit chance on top of that. And because I want more consistent scaling, I am using Thorough Strike to armor strip them and shield strip them. If you're up against, Corrupted or anything like that that has shields, armor, all together. And the grouping ability is his fourth ability. There's 2 ways to cast it. Quick tapping it will, of course, suspend enemies in air, and when you hold it down, it will pull enemies into this vortex. Each form of this ability will incapacitate enemies, but we want to group them up. We have a more concentrated clump of enemies, so we can kill them faster. And if we want some additional damage, we can, of course, debuff them with the Epitaph, modded for Viral. Alright, let's take a look at the build. In the aura, Brief Respite for that energy shield conversion. Prime Sure-Footed for the stagger and knockdown immunity. Our duration is at 155% with just 1 duration mod. Prime Continuity. We need this duration for our Flechette Orb and our Bastille. Prime Flow and Equilibrium are going to be our main sources of energy and energy income, paired up with Energize and our Panzer Vulpaphyla, which I will get to. Range at 175% with Stretch and Augur Reach. Pair Augur Reach with Brief Respite, you're going to be getting a lot of shields back. very good for survivability. Rolling Guard for your status cleanse and that 3 seconds of invulnerability, great to reposition yourself or engage a fight. And our Power Strength mod is Umbral Intensify, which will then equal to 144%. However, we need 200% Power Strength to get that 100% defense strip. How are we going to do that? That's all thanks to Molt Augmented. It is a Zeraman Arcane, which stacks up to 250 times. And this gives you a total of 60% power strength. If you know how to do your math, 60 plus 40 is 100. So that's how we do it. Now, the mod that we can replace is Natural Talent. How, why, and how? Well, for one, if you have your Archon shards, you can put the Archon shards to give you the casting speed, and you can run whatever you want in this slot. You can go with more utility, efficiency if you want. It doesn't really matter. But if you aren't using any Archon shards, then keep Natural Talent very important because it allows you to cast all your abilities in quick succession. Now, for the Mutalisk Quanta, you don't need any Forma, just a Catalyst. Split Chamber for the multi-shot and Tactical Reload for the holster reload. Burning Mass is optional, just some additional damage, so when the bubble detonates, you deal some damage. You have to shoot through it to build up some damage. Does it do much? Very little, but it's useful to have. The reason I have a Riven here is because of the multi-shot. I want to get 3 multi-shot, so 3 pellets. The reason why is because then I don't have to shoot this 3 times. With one shot, you basically get 3 bubbles into one. Usually, if you did not have multi-shots, you need to stack them up 3 times to get the total damage. If you want a copium version, you can use Vigilante Armaments, but if you can get yourself a really bad Riven, as long as it has multi-shot, it can have negative damage, negative whatever, as long as it has multi-shot. Equip it, you have 3 bullets, and that's just 1 cast of this thing. And now the Epitaph. It's your go-to primer. Very simple build. You have your multi-shot, of course, Amalgam for utility. The only fire rate that you need is from Lethal Torrent, Frostbite, Pestilence, and Scorch, Viral Heat, because the quick fire will proc Blast and Cold. So that's additional status effects. Carnage Stinger for the status chance, Sure Shot for the status chance, and Prime Fulmination for the large AoE explosion. Suppress if you're using this on invisible frames. Falcon School can be whatever you want. If you want some additional survivability, use Vazarin. If you feel like you need a bit more energy, you won't, but you can use Zeneric. Now, how do we convert health orbs into energy using Equilibrium and the Panzer? Looking at our Panzer, the mutagens do not matter. We have Viral Quills along with the 2 synth mods. Viral Quills will count as your pet assisting you in kills. All they have to do is coom all over enemies, and then Synth Deconstruct will basically drop health orbs for you because it counts as enemies injured by your pet. And Synth Fiber will allow you to pick up health orbs even though you're 100% HP. Martyr Symbiosis, Devolution, the go-to mods. And if you're using Brief Respite and all those Augur mods to refresh your shield gate, then I highly recommend using a Decaying Dragon Key, which will lower your shield value, so your shields will recharge sooner. And if you're using energy to convert into shields, you don't have that many shields to regenerate. Remember, shield gating is a passive. As long as you have shields, you can shield gate. Alright folks, that has been it from this video. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something from it, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.